What is going on, YouTube? Black Bigelow at the seat of the crime. So ahead of you is the Punta Gorda police station here in Punta Gorda, Florida. So let's go back to August 9th of 2016. So on that afternoon, the police department is conducting a citizens training exercise. What is a citizens training exercise? Basically, they do shoot or don't shoot scenarios, when to defend yourself, when is not a right time to defend yourself while using lethal force. So there was about 35 people that came here to participate in this exercise. And one of them was a 73-year-old retired librarian by the name of Mary Knowlton. In this scenario, they'll pick a random person out in the crowd. They'll play, quote unquote, the victim, and perpetrator is usually a police officer. He's going to play the bad guy or the robber. So on that afternoon, of all the people in the crowd, they picked Mary Knowlton to play the victim. They gave her a gun that had blanks inside. Not live ammunition, just shooting blanks, like a lot of you guys out there do. So the bad guy, who was played by then police officer Lee Cowell, he had a .38 revolver and he had blanks in his gun. So the scenario would be she would play the victim and he would pretend to rob her. So as they're doing the scenario, Officer Cowell points his .38 caliber revolver at Mary Knowlton and pulls the trigger twice. Pop, pop. Now, when you fire blanks normally, like some of you guys out there do, they're not nearly as loud as live ammunition. However, this time it was really, really loud. And Mary Knowlton fell on the ground. And immediately, to Officer Cowell's horror, he realized very quickly what he had just done. Instead of shooting her with blanks, he shot her with live ammunition. Somebody was not doing their job and was very negligent in checking their gun, checking it twice, checking it 3 times for the presence of live ammunition with blanks. Because, you know, if you're a gun expert or even carry a gun, as all cops do on their job, you should be able to tell the difference between a blank and a live round when you are loading it in your gun, because live rounds are quite a bit heavier. She immediately falls to the ground. There's a fire station right next to this police department, so they come with the paramedics. They rush Mary Knowlton to the hospital, where she later succumbs to her injuries. Immediately, Officer Cowell is fired from the Punta Gorda Police Department and then is charged with 1 count of first-degree manslaughter. He's facing 30 years of prison, a very, very heavy crime. His bail is $5,000. His bail was $5,000. He killed a woman. His bail was $5,000. I got caught selling bootleg DVDs. My bail was $1.4 million. What the hell is going on over here? Also, the chief of police at the time, and Mr. Thomas Lewis, he was fired as well. And after an internal investigation into the police department, it was found out that during a lot of these times where they were doing these citizen exercises, that nobody was checking safety protocols, measures. It was just negligence all around. He actually went on trial himself for culpable negligence, but he was found not guilty. I'm talking about the chief of police at the time, Thomas Lewis. So former officer Lee Cowell, C-O-E-L, he goes on to go into court, plea deals, plea negotiations, so forth and so on. And finally in 2019, he pled no contest to second-degree manslaughter. Okay, no contest, second-degree manslaughter. He got sentenced to 10 years of probation. Probation. Wow. 10 years of probation, didn't even go to jail. Except for the few hours he was in jail before he posted his $5,000 bail and a woman's dead. Now, I know it was an accident, but come on now. Your own negligence cost this woman her life. Eventually, the family sued the police department and the city. They settled for a $2 million lawsuit. I don't know how much the lawyers get in that situation. And of course, you have an idiot Lee Cowell. Idiot Lee Cowell. So I'm going to call this guy a scumbag. Not because he accidentally shot and killed a woman. No, not at all. He's not a scumbag for that. I mean, he was very, very wrong, and I felt that he should go to prison for that just because he's an idiot. But no, he's a scumbag because he tried to file for a disability pension for the police department after he got fired. Former Officer Lee Cowell, if you are watching this, in my opinion, sir, you are an absolute scumbag for that. An absolute scumbag. So he's a convicted felon for the rest of his life. He could never hold a job in law enforcement ever again. And a woman lost her life. It would have been anybody. He just happened to pick her. She looked very unassuming. Probably, he's seen her as the perfect victim role. And unfortunately, she became one. A very, very sad story. Should have never happened. All right, guys. Black Bigelow at the scene of the crime. I got to get out of here before they come out here and think I'm one of those nerdy auditors. And they start wanting to ask me for my ID and all that stuff. Because I'm not going to give them my ID. You guys ain't getting nothing from me. I ain't giving you shit. Bunch of murderers. All right, guys. I got to go. Catch up with you later. Peace out.